Okay, thanks everybody for coming at short notice. Nikhil is like a University of Leicester graduate. He has done a Master of Engineering in Aeronautical Engineering and is currently working as a project manager and with the Stern Energy. And he will tell you more about it. He has given a lecture last year and it was very interesting, very well received. Nikhil is going to talk about how to get into engineering in general, and also is going to tell some, give some tips about the careers as well. Yeah, I'll leave it to Nikhil to proceed further. Thank you, everybody. And then the recording will be available in the YouTube, in our YouTube channel later on this week. Thank you. Nikhil, take over, please. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. So I've just shared the screen, guys. We'll just wait for it to come through. Can everyone see the presentation? It's a very short one. My presentation today is going to be more us chatting and going through it in the questions afterwards, and a few visual links that we'll go through. And then my idea is more we'll look at the question side as mentioned. So to start off with, I went to University of Leicester. I did my aerospace engineering there. Now this is one of the images that's used for recruitment there, out of this world, and genuinely, not purely because of the experience at University of Leicester, which is great as is, but we're a very much space orientated university, and we're quite linked with the European Space Agency. So I'll talk a little bit more on that aspect of my degree a bit later, so you guys can get an appreciation of that. So I thought this was very apt. Now, as I said, the presentation is going to be quite short and sweet. I'm going to go through my kind of journey through school, university, job, as well as key aspects I linked into throughout that time, which might help a lot of you guys if you're approaching GCSE level or A levels. But a key thing you'll always hear on these kind of career chats are extracurriculars. They are important. Obviously, your main studies need to be key, get those grades, but the extracurriculars do help, not just as a symbol on your CV or like a name drop, but the skills that you learn from them is the key part. Then we'll go on to the best A-level choices. Again, we'll talk, I want some interaction on that part from you guys. Then some university options and how to find them. So we'll go through a link on how to find the career options for you, and uni options, then career options, wider fields, and then any questions. Now, just a little bit about me, as I mentioned. So I went to Bishop Easy's Grammar School here in Birmingham. It's based in Sutton Coldfield. So I did that from year 7 through to end of my sixth form. So both GCSEs and A levels. GCSEs wise, I did maths, physics, chemistry, all the core subjects, as well as music, business, geography, and my language was Spanish. Now that's a wide difference there for GCSE levels, but as a good depth of different aspects of life is good. So music really helped me in terms of balancing myself and a little distraction from the main subjects, but also gave me different skills. So as a musician, you learn the ability to multitask. And then obviously business and geography was a different, wider subject. So I've got a depth. Now it came to A levels. As I said, carried on at VZs. I did maths, further maths, physics, and chemistry, and then went on to do engineering at university. Now, why engineering? So in year 9, I joined the RAF Air Cadets, and that had a big impact on my career. So I got to visit RAF stations, explore what the stations are like, learn what the military does. And also we got to see what the insides of a engine itself is on a Typhoon aircraft. Now that was a big turning point for me. So I was able to see the insides, see how they work, and I thought, you know what, this is what I want to do, work towards being a pilot or an engineer. So naturally from then I visited more stations, more events, and explored where I could. And so then went on to pick maths, further maths, physics, and chem whilst at A levels, as those subjects are what set you up for engineering as a minimum. Again, we'll explore that a little bit more. Through the cadets, I worked my way up, became an instructor there. So I would teach these subjects to other young kids who were interested in the field, and get to explore other aspects such as Duke of Edinburgh, where I worked my way up till DOV Gold. I did something called the School's Aerospace Challenge, where we went away for a week at Cranfield University to do a design challenge, where we had to design the next type of aircraft. So everyone knows about normal planes, helicopters, but then there's also something called airships. These were there around during the wartime as like blimps, but then just went out of fashion. If any of those history buffs out here know about the Hindenburg disaster, it essentially was a big air blimp that went from Germany to America. Due to the fuel type they were using at the time, it blew up, a lot of people died. But innovation has come back in, and they're looking at bringing in called the Airlander. So we, as a group of students, had the challenge of designing the future designs, future power aspects of that aircraft design, and it was quite interesting. So that's what I got to do through the cadets. Then I went off to university. So my degree, as I mentioned, is aerospace engineering with a master's. So I did the full 4 years, 3 years for the bachelor's, 1 year as an integrated master's. During this time, I did sports. So I did hockey as the club. I was part of the National Hindu Student Forum, which kept me busy, but also meant that I was in touch with our culture a bit more, and I helped other students who came across to uni who might have found it harder to stay in touch, and also to meet with other Hindu students. So in that, I was the sports coordinator, where they did kabaddi, football, and kho-kho. I taught those to the school, to the university, and then we kept that going and went into competitions. I also went on to be the president and vice president, as well as an advisor the following year. I was also involved with something called the Leicester Holi event. So this was where we did a massive community project where we got everyone together, as well as going on to do something called the University Air Squadron, which is the RAF voluntary reserves whilst you're at uni. So you get paid to go and learn about engineering, law, whatever, all the different aspects that you could do within the military. So that was a big part of my time there. After coming out of uni, I went on to work for Eon Next Energy as an energy specialist. So my interest was always obviously aerospace aircraft design, but also look at energy consumption, and energy development. So as part of my final year as my degree, I actually did a project in nuclear energy linked with deep space satellites and aircraft. So naturally it was a weird progression, but I'll explain a little bit more why I didn't go aero and go this way. And I currently work as a project manager at Stern Energy, and we look after huge solar farms. So key subjects, and these here are images of what I was explaining as well. So we've got here through the RFVR, I got to go abroad to Nijmegen, where it's like a different experience. And then here is kabaddi and sports. So as I mentioned, subjects, maths, physics, further maths, and chemistry. Now, there are other subjects at A levels which can help you as well. But for engineering in general, you need you need maths and physics. Then it's preferred further maths. I chose chemistry as my AS, but you could have done business, econ, anything that helps you. But the key thing there is getting the grades forwards for you. The reason I say maths and physics are key subjects here are you learn a lot of the fundamentals that you learn in engineering and the later the later years during your first year of A level itself. So if you can master those then when it comes to that module in engineering, you can get a great grade. Same thing goes for further maths. So I did a module in further pure back in the day, which I ended up being a complete module in second year of engineering for me. So I ended up acing that exam, got 98 out of the 100. And that was partly because I already understood the subject. Now, one thing that'll be on all of your minds is how to find the best university. This is very subjective. So each of you do need to go in and do a bit of research. In a second, we'll break out of the presentation and I'll show you 2 websites that you can use to do this research. Just for you guys getting an understanding how to navigate on there, it will be good. Then after that research, after that, you can narrow your list down to a couple of universities. Then you want to really visit them. Once you've researched all the unis, visited a few, then you can come back onto the point of rankings and student satisfaction. I wouldn't straight away concentrate on rankings because there are some unis, whereas in the overall rankings, they might be further down or they might not be listed in that subject type purely because they are very niche in their subject. So the name might be slightly different because of the modules, but when you do your research, say, for example, for me, I really wanted, when I went in, I wanted to do engine design and then go into satellites and energy side. Not many universities out there have a connection with the European Space Agency or any of the companies that can go out into space right now. So for me, my uni was one of the best options. But if you do look at aerospace in general, it will be there in that it's a mid-tier uni. You also have others that do it too, but again, as I mentioned, you need to look at the exact subjects and see how in depth they go. So let's have a look here. Let's go into one of the links. So almost all of you will have heard of the the Guardian's university ranking tables. So you can go onto here. You have a quick search of, apologies, there's a fix. So here there's, let me close that. So at the top here, you can search aerospace engineering. And if you want, you can go further down in terms of institution subjects. But if you do just aerospace, it'll list you all the unis, what kind of courses they give as options, and work your way down. Now, the other way to look at it is to clear that field, go to subject area, aerospace engineering, and search. And here it'll give you similar thing, but it's any differences in spaces, searches, it'll get rid of that. Then you can look at rankings by clicking here, as rankings plays a part. So you can work your way down the list. Key ones, always Imperial is really good. The subjects there are nice and they cover a wide aspect. Got Bath, Bristol, all of these working your way down. And what you can do is you can look at the university by clicking on it and look at what specifically they do. As you can see here, mechanical is included, but it's with aeronautics as part of it. So that's where I say the naming convention might be different. And you can just work down the list of the universities. And sometimes, because of the way the course has now been named, the universities might not exactly match up onto this general overview. So for example, my uni recently changed because they've put the degree base at the front. They're not listed on there, but they are an aerospace degree. Same thing here with Islands. As you can see, they've got BScs first, and it works slightly differently. Now, the other link is called Uni Select. Just refresh that one. This is for people who are still trying to figure out more wider where you want to go, but also you want to concentrate on the other aspects. So you can go straight onto the tables, similar to the other one. You can see them here and work your way through. Got the full tables, or you can go subject league tables. or you can go onto the main front of the degree of the website and search your degree course. So
Sorry, I
Aero.
think you're showing a different screen. Okay.
Oh, sorry, let me check. Which screen are you guys able to see right now?
The one with the Stern Energy.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. How about now?
Yeah, the complete university guide.co.uk.
Okay. In which case, just a second ago, were you guys able to see the other course? Okay, we'll come back to that. So, a complete university guide here. So you can go Aero, search, and then it'll work through the degree points, and you can filter through. You can add your grades, the region you want to go, the universities, and then that will help narrow the lists down for you. So that's always an option. So if you just do it again, so let's go here, aerospace engineering, search. As you can see, I'll give you a full list of many universities. Then you can add what grades you're at now or predicted to get. So let's go for A star, AA, apply, and then it'll give you which options are there open for you and above. You can look at regions, say you specifically want to go a certain area there, and course type and qualifications that you get through it. So that's how you would go about researching it. Let me bring this back up, slides. And then as mentioned, after that, I'd be looking more at ranking and student satisfaction after you've visited the open days. So strongly recommend going to as many of the open days as you can, just because you'll get a feel of the university and the students there, because that's going to be a key factor for you guys being there for several years. If you're doing just the bachelor's, like most do, it'll be just 3 years. But most unis will offer a placement year or a year abroad. If you get that opportunity, do take it, because placement years will allow you to establish a connection with a company or a team when you're in a certain company or field. And if you do really well during that placement, they will offer you a job for when you come back. So for example, one of my friends, he did a placement in the cybersecurity division of Phillips 66, which is a oil refinery firm. And they offered him a job as soon as he came back out. And he's been there now for about 3 years since we left university, and he's enjoying it. The company takes him on fully paid trips to America and back once a year, full training, gyms provided, foods provided at work, and other benefits such as that. And it's a very competitive salary. So if they can see that you're good and you fit into the team, they're not going to want to lose you. You're abroad, it's an experience. You get to go to America, India, China, wherever you choose that your university has a link with, you can go and study there. Why is this good and important? It'll give you life skills more, which most of you guys will have already developed through your volunteering or other activities you do whilst you're at school as well as at university. But in this stage, you're in a very alien situation, because different country, different people, you're slightly isolated, but it helps you learn to interact with others very quickly and to develop yourself. So, and then when you come back to your degree and then go into the working life, that is key, because as soon as you join a new company, you don't know anyone there and you'll be learning everything new. So that becomes a good help there. And finally, just look at again, contact other students you know at these universities or wider. So obviously through sessions like this, you get to speak with people who've done these degrees and ask them for the real scoop. So I myself absolutely love the practical side of my degree. We did a lot of design, a lot of team building and exercises. Now, I mentioned the European Space Agency on this point, which was key for myself. We got to work with the next, just trying to bring the part out to show you guys, the next step in deep space travel. So you're looking at how the satellites are powered by something called pegs. Now, those who have seen, now the name's coming out of my head, The Martian, you'll have heard them talk about the TEG. Now, the TEG is something called a thermoelectric generator. What I'll do is I'll stop the video so you can see my video. Sharing. Okay, so this here is something that we built, which is like a prototype of something that goes into deep space. The idea is the thermoelectric generator is here connected on the side onto the main, onto the main nuclear core. The nuclear core transfers power through there to the rest of the system, and this controls all of the energy. And these kind of projects kind of help you get that deeper understanding of what you're doing and makes you more interested into the field. And so that kind of what pushed me into the energy side. Now, as I mentioned at the end, after finishing my degree, I was set up for a job within the aviation sector, working on the pipeline, gas pipe and fluid pipe flows that goes through a wing shape. So working on the A320, sorry, the Airbus A320 with a company called Sigma. But unfortunately, because of COVID and the impact of that opportunity got cancelled. I ended up going into the energy sector with E.ON, and then now to E.ON Stern Energy as the project manager of portfolio. Now, the key thing here is a lot of the aspects that you learn through your degree. So the management styles, the working independently, or the degree content, you then get to push out and do within your work career. So aspects such as team management, skill management that you do in engineering, I now use in my daily job, and I go forward. As mentioned earlier, the idea was to give the key overview here of subjects, degree, how to find the universities, and then a little bit of me. The main thing I wanted to do now is going through is questions from you guys linked with aerospace or any degree options or uni in general, and then we'll go from there. So as Uncle requested, I'm going to stop the recording there, and then we'll go on to the questions.